Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. Look, I am clearly out of the studio today. Came to Kansas City. My wife is a diehard Chiefs fan. Yeah, how'd that end up for her? Either way, I'm in Kansas City, but I still wanted to make sure that we got a show out to you guys. So I appreciate you all just having patience with me today. We got a little makeshift here, but we're going to get this thing done. We're going to get it done, man. A lot of good games happened this weekend on the Big 12. It was really exciting basketball. Some teams, you damn Cincinnati Bearcats, you dangled that carrot out in front of me, and I told you if you won this weekend, I would grab it, and damn it, I got to be a man of my word. So interesting basketball games that were this weekend, man. We're going to cover all of those. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys for the support. Remember, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and continue to get in those comments. We really, really appreciate your all's feedback and your support. So thank you. Let's get into this. So first things first, Houston goes to Colorado. Look, it's tough to win. Tough to win on the road in the Big 12. Colorado, as I mentioned, is a team that just has not quit yet. They haven't quit. Having said all that, they're not great. And this is just kind of a workman's-like game. I mean, Houston never got away from them. This was not like a blowout that Colorado made close at the end. They didn't. 69-59, just a really workman-type effort by the Houston Cougars to win this basketball game. I don't know. Some people might expect it more. Maybe you thought, oh, okay, this game needs to be a blowout. And if you did, that's fine. But again, we mentioned Colorado hasn't quit, and they got to have a good coach. But a good road win for Houston nonetheless. Like I said, winning in the Big 12 is difficult no matter where you go. This, again, was just literally the definition of that. A team that's winless against one of the better teams in the country. You win by 10 in a game that was pretty close the entire way. That's what we're talking about, trying to win in the Big 12. Next up, as we predicted, we said Iowa State was going to blow out TCU. They did. This game wasn't close, 82-52. Look, Iowa State shot the ball really well. They needed this game. You know, I hate to say get-right games and stuff like that, but that's what this was. It was a get-right game for them. They'd lost 3 in a row, hadn't played well in those 3 games. I take that back. They did play well. I believe it was the Arizona game. Yeah, they played well in that one. But against Kansas and Kansas State, they looked awful. They looked absolutely awful. Having said all of that, this is the game that they needed to get off that 3-game losing streak to get things going back in the right direction. I've said it before. I like Iowa State. I think they're going to be there at the end. But sometimes teams go through stuff. I mean, you can't, your team isn't a fairy tale team where nothing ever happens and, you know, everything is roses all year long. And going through adversity is part of it, man. And hopefully this was their adversity, you know, for Cyclone fans that, hey, we went through this. We needed to go through this. We're a better basketball team for it. TCU, like I said, so inconsistent. Not great, but so inconsistent. But we didn't think they'd put up much of a fight, and they did not. Baylor. Baylor may have put UCF's chances at going to the NCAA tournament on life support. A great win for Baylor. Look, the thing with Baylor, and I think everybody can agree, they just need to be healthy. Well, they got healthy, and these are the results. Look, I'm not saying UCF is a great team. I think they're a decent team. They are. They're falling apart, though. As we speak, you talk about going through adversity. This is their adversity, losing 6 or 7. But Baylor got healthy, and you knew they were talented. That's never been a question of talent or coaching, I might add. So it was always just a matter of, can this team get healthy? Maybe they're getting healthy at the right time. But that was a good win for them. They shot the ball extremely well. UCF, like I said, lost 4 in a row, lost 6 or 7. Their chances of making the tournament are literally on life support. They got to get some stuff going on here. Next up, Kansas State. What else are we going to say about Kansas State? That was a good win over KU. Not really surprising. I mean, they won the game. They didn't do anything phenomenal. You know, they shot 40% from 3. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better, but it's not like they went out there and made 17, 23-pointers and shot 70%. None of that happened. They were literally the better team from the tip to the end of the game. That's it. They were the better basketball team. They were the more confident basketball team, the more physical basketball team. They were just better. They were just better. And this is kind of what I would guess a lot of people, a lot of Wildcat fans thought they were going to be, at the beginning of the year. And they went through some adversity, and maybe it was getting some buy-in. Maybe it was guys trying to do things on their own, thinking, you know what, I'm coming to Kansas State. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that versus just buying in. Maybe they had to simplify some stuff at K-State, which looks like they did. But they were just a better basketball team. KU's so inconsistent. I'd said it before. You win one, you lose one. You win one, you lose one. Well, they had won one. Then they lost one. It's like this team. And look, you can't win in the NCAA tournament being this inconsistent. And also the one thing about KU, it's not going to change unless Bill Self changes something. So you can't continuously just do the same thing and think, oh, we're just going to snap out of it. No, you're not going to snap out of it. You got to do something to get out of this. So, but what that is, I don't know. And they don't pay me the big bucks to figure that out. So I know I like Bill Self as a coach. I think he's the best coach in the country. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have flaws. And sooner or later, they're going to have to change some things around because it's just not working right now. It's just not working. The inconsistency is way too much at KU. Way too much at KU. West Virginia gets a good win over Utah, 72-61. I had mentioned this, and some West Virginia fans actually agreed with me, which is great. I said that the team isn't necessarily going to be a better basketball team without Tucker DeVries. What I said is that it gives the kids clarity knowing that he's not coming back. And that's what this is, hey, he's not going to be back. So we got to figure this thing out on ourselves versus, okay, when is he coming back? It might be this week. It might be next week, yada, yada, yada. Well, they don't have to worry about that anymore. It's like, hey, guys, this is the team. This is who we are. We got to go out here and figure this thing out on our own. And they're doing that. So, and again, that's not a slight to anybody at West Virginia. It's just saying, hey, we don't have this guy, this really good basketball player is not coming back to our team because of injuries. So it's on us. And this is a good start. They had been inconsistent, lost a lot of games. I don't know if you think maybe they should have won, but they lost a few. Their tournament hopes they're still there. They're still solidly in as of now. Utah, not going to make the tournament, I would say. But this, West Virginia needed this game. They just needed this game. They needed to win, and they did. And now maybe that psyche of, you know what, we can get this thing done. It's on us. Let's go get it done. I like this win for them. The Cincinnati Bearcats, people. Those damn Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, look, you all know me. I just can't figure them out. I can't get Cincinnati right. And I keep saying that, and it keeps being the truth, is I was on their bandwagon early. I thought they were going to be a really good basketball team. And then lo and behold, the Big 12 started and they went in the tank, just literally in the tank. And I'm like, well, they'll get it figured out. You know, Big 12's tough. And they didn't get it figured out. And then I went and jumped off the train. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going down on this ship. You know, I found a life raft. Well, okay. Well, then they said, hey, B, look over here. We're still moving. We're still going down the train. I thought, nah, you're not going to get me. I'm not getting back on that boat. But I told you guys that if they won this game against a really good BYU team, I told you guys that I would get back on the ship. And damn it, not only did they win it in dominant fashion. I'm getting back on. Look, if there's one thing you guys know about me, I'm always going to be honest. In my opinion, whatever I think, I'm going to tell you. And I told you I'd get back on, and I'm going to get back. Now, don't disappoint me, Cincinnati, because here I get back on. Or maybe UC fans are like, no, B, stay off the ship. Don't get back on. We don't need you. You know, you are the bad luck charm. Hopefully I'm not the bad luck charm, because I'm telling you right now, Cincinnati fans, I'm back on the train, and hopefully this thing gets us all the way to the NCAA tournament. Like I said, that was a good win over BYU. BYU's a good basketball team. Not sure if I think they can make the tournament. It doesn't get easier for them. I know that their schedule isn't the easiest, but neither is anybody else's. It's the Big 12. So you just got to continue to win games. Having said all of that, I'm back on the Cincinnati train. I think this can carry them. Their schedule's not easy either, but like I mentioned, the Big 12 is just the Big 12, man. It's going to be tough. So to be able to get in the tournament, they put themselves behind the 8 ball. Can you dig yourself out? I think you can. Oklahoma State. Look, I get it. Arizona State was out 2 starters. You know how I feel about them. I'm not giving them a pass. They get 0 pass from me for guys being out for doing stupid stuff on the court, getting suspended. So you don't get a pass from me. Sorry. Having said that, good for Oklahoma State. It was going to be tough for Arizona State to win there no matter what. Down 2 starters, they didn't. Oklahoma State took control, didn't look back. They were the better team. But you're out 2 starters. Somebody's going to be better. But again, Oklahoma State, they're going to get this thing rolling in the right direction. You give it another year, they're going to get some better players in there, some more players in there, and they're going to get this thing rolling. Arizona State, I just don't know. I take that back. I do know it's time to start over. And hopefully, like I mentioned before, the way that those kids, how they acted in the 2 previous games, headbutting a guy and then spitting on a guy, I'm like, okay. First of all, a guy that spit, and again, it's speculation that he spit on somebody. But if he spit on somebody, personally, I think he should be removed from the team because you can't do anything worse. I would rather you punch a kid than spit on a kid. But maybe that's just my personal feelings getting in the way because how I would feel if somebody spat on me. And I think that's probably what's getting in the way here. So I apologize for getting emotional, but you can't act that way. They take their cues from their head coach. I know I'm going to keep harping on that for the end of the year because I don't like Bobby Hurley, but I'm just telling the truth. Either way, good win for Oklahoma State. They, like I said, they were the better team. They were at home. They showed it. Good for them. And then for the game of the weekend, Arizona over Texas Tech, they kind of get their, they do get their revenge from losing earlier in the season. Here's the thing, people. This was a really good basketball game. That's the thing that I want to get across is how good of a basketball game this actually was, because it was good. Back and forth kind of affair. Nobody got away. Arizona didn't break away and get up by 20 or anything like that. They made some separation, and Tech wasn't able to necessarily close the gap. The separation, they would get it to 8 and then 9, and then Tech would hit back and get it to 6 and then 5 down to 4. But it was just a good back and forth basketball game, like we knew it was going to be. I still like Tech. Don't get me wrong. I told y'all at the beginning of the year that I really like Tech. I still really like Tech. But I also liked Arizona. Arizona just lost those games early in the non-con, and people wrote them off. Well, maybe you shouldn't have written them off. I mean, non-con games are kind of there to test your team early. They did. I wouldn't say they failed those tests, but it was just you're playing against good competition, getting your team ready. Well, it looks like that playing that tough schedule early, it helped because Arizona's a really good team, man. They're a really good team. But again, Tech is too. It was a good basketball game. Arizona was just better. Look, I don't want to say they out-toughed Tech. Now, granted, you out-rebound somebody 42-29. Some people are going to say they were the more physical team. Hey, okay, I'll go with that. They were the more physical team, but I do know Tech shot. They didn't even shoot the lights out. They just stayed in the game by hitting 12 3-pointers. I mean, they were 36% from the field. So I wouldn't say that they shot the lights out, but that's how they stayed in the game, by making a bunch of 3-pointers. Again, Tech is good. Arizona is good. It was a really good basketball game. If they meet again in the Big 12 tournament, it's going to be another good basketball game, man. So they represented the conference well. So, look, appreciate you guys as always. Again, I apologize. I'm out of town. I'll be back tomorrow. And back in the studio tomorrow to get this back on the ship. But this is pretty good. This wasn't horrible. But again, appreciate you guys being patient with me today. Big games on Tuesday. Big games on Tuesday. We're going to cover that tomorrow, man, and talk a little bit about what's going on in the Big 12 on Tuesday. Until then, I appreciate you guys. Thank you, and talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.